Section 8 clients, do you get like a list of people?
My name is Aline, and I just recently.
Okay.
So think about your workflow. Again,
I don't know how to do it.
I know how to do it, and I'm trying to instruct other people to do better in their business, but I also have to do better in my business.
Hey, everyone out there in YouTube land and our Facebook group, Metro Detroit Off Market Real Estate Group. I also have this on my personal page on Randy Stedwell in Facebook. We had some technical issues with StreamYard going straight to the Facebook group. So if you are seeing this after the fact from the Facebook group, I apologize, but best viewed on YouTube. It helps our algorithm, and you can always see the replay there. Now, if we always have the chat off to the side, ask any questions that you do have. When we are live, we will see them, and I can bring them up on screen. If you're not seeing this live, ask your questions in the chat, and I'll get to them. I promise you that. So, without further ado, we have Brett Isett, and he is a firefighter EMT and basically a first responder. I love having these guys on here, and I love seeing these success stories about how people are, getting on the right track for their future. We all know this is not a get rich quick scheme. Real estate is not get rich quick. It is a get rich over time. So I love that. And he's here to tell his story about his first investment property and how he got into it, what made him choose getting into where he's at, so on and so forth. Come join us for the rest of this show to see his story. Brett, how you doing today?
Good, Randy. How's it going?
I'm doing all right. So I know it's a lot coming on here. You're like, when we first talked, you're like, I don't really have anything to say. And I'm like, dude, just tell your story and somebody will get something out of it. That I promise you. Oh, so, we're all here we want to learn from the mistakes you made so we don't make them. So,
right. Yeah, there's been a couple so far, that's for sure.
That's good. At least good for us anyways, not for you. But at least you learn from it, right?
Yeah, every time.
That's one thing is we always, any mistake that we have, hey, it's just a learning lesson. That's all it is. So, so tell me how you first got started in real estate and how did you come across rentals or investing? Like, you don't come out of the womb just knowing about real estate, do you? So,
no.
So tell me how you even thought about it.
So, best friend of mine, my buddy Josh, he got into it a number of years ago and started flipping properties, making good money. Then he started renting them out. And, I seen the success he was having, and he was telling me all about it. You got to get into this. I mean, it's a lot, it's overwhelming, but like it's the future. It's a good place to put your money, because both of us were trying to get into the mindset that we wanted more than, the average person, provide more for our families, have, just finer things in life, freedom, options for our family. So, after seeing him do a number of projects, I told him I'm ready to get into it. Like, give me 3 books and I'll start there, and I read these 3 books, couldn't really ignore the potential after that. So I just kind of, became enthralled in the whole process and started listening to podcasts every day. And eventually, I decided that I wanted to get my own rentals. And, I wrote it down. What was it? July 29th, 2023. I wrote it down that date of 22. And I said, by that date, like, I want to have my first property. because it was just
Okay.
a lot to me, you know, and I didn't meet that goal. I was a number of months after that, but you know, that's when I started really listening to the podcast and reaching out to people, going to seminars, trying to figure out all the different financing strategies on how I was going to do it, you know, and there's one thing led to the next. And, you know, I decided on my financing and I just started looking at properties. I got the money ready to go, and I just started looking, and, you know, I looked at a lot of properties and I finally found the one.
So what was the name of the book that you read to get into it?
Which one? It was the Burr Method by
Burr Method.
David Green. Yeah. The Burr book.
Awesome book,
Yep.
by the way. I do recommend doing it. Now, not in every situation the Burr Method works. Okay.
Right.
So you got to look at that, whether it works for your situation or not. But so how did you go about securing financing if, you know, like you wanted to do the Burr Method? So how did you think about securing finance? What did you do?
I mean, my first one's really not even the Burr Method. Like I started to, you know, decided I want something more turnkey or kind of like a lighter rehab. And, you know, I just decided that I was going to do a HELOC and take a HELOC out on my property, on my primary, and use that with the interest only payments and, you know, work overtime. And it kind of would allow me to get the property before putting a large chunk down that I've saved up over time. So I'm in that right now. And so far it's going good. My numbers could be better after some unexpected expenses popped up, but I'm still in a good place as of now. And I know a lot more for the next one.
Awesome. And we'll talk about that in a few minutes here. So what I wanted to kind of go back a little bit is you started on like, what did you think about when you first got in? Did it immediately open your eyes to what's possible in real estate, or did you have to read it a couple times or read a couple other books to kind of get it?
Yeah, it was a number of things really. Like I started reading the books and I wanted to reach out. I was sitting at the firehouse one day reading a book, and, you know, a guy walks by and he's like, I got a buddy with, you know, I think he's got like 10 or 20 rentals. You should reach out to him. So I was like, okay. He gave me his number. I reached out to him. I take him out for coffee. He's got a wholesaling company. So, you know, I hit it off with him, and, you know, I started working with him, cold calling and learning, you know, and going on appointments with them, and, you know, learning how to do the numbers and just throwing myself out there. You know, it was very uncomfortable. It still is, because it's all still new, but you know, I started doing that and going to real estate seminars. And then it's my two partners, Brandon and Tio. And Brandon, you know, I wanted to get into a different, like a Section 8 kind of type. I started looking out. So he goes, hey, you know, this Jay Peltier, you should reach out to him. I took him out to lunch and, you know, talked to him, and I still talk to him. And I went to the real estate the other day. He introduced me to you. You never know what can come from a conversation, right? You got to get out.
You never know.
Yep. You got to.
And by the way, if any of you haven't listened to it, a few episodes ago, we did interview Jay Peltier about Section 8 housing. So go check out the replay. I believe it was either 29 or 30. I can't remember exactly which, but episode number 29 or 30. Check out Jay Peltier. Awesome guy. And everybody I come across, like, he's just very helpful. So
he's been amazing help so far.
Yeah. So please do check that out. Reach out to him as well. And so when you took him out to lunch, did he sell you on Section 8? What did he tell you to kind of think about Section 8?
Yeah, I mean, he told me a lot of good things on it too. And he actually saved me from making a big mistake, because I was about to buy another property. I had it under contract, and I had my taxes, you know, Detroit city taxes are a lot higher than most people think. So I had it wrong. So my numbers were a little off, and it wouldn't have.
You mean it's not $100?
Right?
They're not $100? A $5,000 property is $100. Come on.
Right?
You know?
That's what you would think. And, you know, and that's what around, I think, where my budget was. And he was like, nope, you're going to need to be more. And he showed me property tax estimator, and we started digging into things. So I backed out of that deal, looked at a bunch of other houses, you know, but that's just another example of, you know, you got to find people that are doing what you want to do. And
You
for
have to
so
surround,
long,
yeah, you have to
Yeah.
surround yourself with good people
Yeah.
that's going to be open and honest with you. That's going to help you
yes.
along the way,
hmm
you know? So sorry,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, you're good. No, that was,
Yeah.
I was just going off of that, for so long, I was
Yeah.
just looking at properties and, I had an idea what I wanted to do, but, I
And
wasn't
what
quite sure.
changed when you were looking at properties before you met, say, Jay, or talked with some of these people? And what afterwards? What are you looking at differently now? Are you running is it just the tax thing? Was it something else?
It's that, and like before, you'll walk in and okay, the kitchen's done up real nice. So you think, okay,
Mhm.
this house is awesome. The kitchen's really good and this looks good. But then you got to look into the deeper things, the electrical panel, the wiring in the basement ceiling, the
Mhm.
plumbing, the roof, the foundation, and more, the bigger expense, and a lot of the little things like this house that I bought. I'm glad I bought it. It felt right when I did buy it, but I was like,
Mhm.
oh, there's a lot of little things, and those little things added up really, really quick. And then you had unexpected expenses come up. So you gotta, just really give yourself a good idea. And I think I did, I looked at a lot of houses, so I was pretty much out of patience. I'm like, this is the one, it
Yeah.
feels right, I'm going for it. And you just gotta pull the trigger at some point, right? Things are gonna happen. So I just had to
Yep.
do that. And then, I got my buddy working on it and he's calling me, hey man, you got water pouring into your electrical panel. I'm like, Jesus, that's something I didn't plan on, so I had to have that fixed up. And I thought the furnace was in better shape than it was. I'm going to be putting in a new furnace, and there's some other issues, and you get into the nitty gritty of it, and if you buy a house that's half rehabbed or 3/4 turnkey, then you're finding a lot more imperfections, so just,
Let's add a little water to that sparky over there.
yeah, exactly. Yep. Like you really, really got to look deep into the little imperfections and see how much money you really are going to have to put in this house, and I gave myself a big gap, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh, that's
just,
awesome. So it sounds like you've learned a few lessons by jumping into this one. And even though it wasn't like, obviously we can't figure out every situation when we first walk through a property. We
mhm,
don't know everything that's going to happen on that property. And that's one of the reasons I tell people, when you're figuring out your renovation budget, take about 10 to 15%, depending on the house, the size of the budget, things like that. And I put it aside and I call it an oh shit fund.
mhm. That's a good
Okay.
word for it.
It's an oh
Good.
shit fund. It's
Yeah.
oh shit, I did not see that. You
It's a
know?
good, it's exactly what it's going to be for too.
Exactly. So and you just never know what's gonna happen, you
Yep.
know. Like for instance, the water in the in the electrical
Yeah.
bit,
Yep.
it
And
just it doesn't work that way. But
exactly.
if you prepare a little bit for the unexpected, when it happens, it's not that big of a hit.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and that's where experience comes in. Now you're going to look at this for your next property and you're like, okay, I got to check this, and this,
Yes. Oh yeah. The next one
you know?
I'm gonna be good.
Right.
I'm
And,
still gonna
and,
learn a lot more then too. But
this is what's funny about it. You're going to think that you checked everything off the box on the next one and you're going to be perfect. And
more
then
shit's gonna
something
happen.
else is going to happen.
hmm But
And
it's
then you're
part of
going
the
to
game,
learn
right?
from that.
Exactly.
So exactly, it's just all part of the game.
Yep.
We can't see beyond the walls. We can only see the evidence.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah. Yep.
so
Yeah. And I worked hard, like on getting into the right mindset before this. Like really committing. Like this is what I'm gonna do. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter how long it takes. This
mhm.
is the goal. I'm gonna meet it, and that's what I'm doing. So you
Yeah.
know, you get overwhelmed. You have all these things to do. I have a list of all these things, and you just kind of got to slow down and just, one thing at a time, just keep knocking them out. And
Now, how long have you been a firefighter or an EMT? All of that.
about 10 years now, 8 years with Clinton Township. I was part time, at a part-time fire department before that for a couple of years. And then I worked at on the ambulance for 3 years before or during that time while I was part-time too. But I've been with the Clinton Township firefighter or fire department for about 8 years now.
So you work hard to do all this, right? There's a lot of chance for overtime possibly.
Oh yeah, lots of overtime. I mean, I'm working more now because now I have,
you have something to put it towards.
Yeah, and I always have. I mean, I got 2 kids. Things add up quick, right? And,
oh my God.
So
it's a little bit here. How old are your kids?
They're 4 and 2, almost 5
4 and 2,
2.5. Yeah.
So when they start school, there's always going to be something every other day. They're coming out with something here. I got to pay this. I got to get this. It's picture day. It's this. It's and the wife or the mother is going to be, we got to have the best package. We got to have this. We got to have that. And
luckily we're all on the same page. We got a good thing going. It's like
that's awesome.
There's everything. I just want to give
schools brainwash them they want this, they want that, and you and your wife got to be on that same page, man.
Yeah. Once the sports come in, we were at my daughter's first soccer practice the other day. We had the lawn chairs. We're like, holy crap! Like we're at this point, and things are going to add up. That's the whole reason I'm doing this is so that everything's not so tight. This is a long-term strategy, but I'm going to just reinvest everything that I make on these, into the next to try to scale as quickly as possible. But, there's no ceiling on what, I could be opening up a type of business throughout this, and it all depends. There's no ceiling really for
most
what's
definitely
possible.
So here's a question. Before you got into this, I'm assuming, are you married?
Yes.
Or engaged?
Yep. Married.
Okay.
Yep.
So when you came across this, did you have the conversation with your wife, or did you just go full out and do this?
Oh no. I told her what we made a big,
like, how did you get her on board? And that's what a lot of people don't understand is like, you learn all this as a man, we're like gung ho. We want to do this. But if you don't get that other person involved, it's going to be hell on wheels for you.
Yes. And that's exactly it. Yeah. And we said that too. We're not doing anything big without being on the same page. And it took a little bit to get her on board, but now she's very supportive. She's got my back the whole way. So, that's a lot, but that's a very important thing is to be on the same page and have your family back.
Does she help out with anything with the house or trying to find it, or maybe is she hunting for deals for you?
No, I'm doing all that. I mean, she works full time too. And we got the kids. She's got her hands full too. So this is like my baby, right? This is
got it. Okay.
I'm handling all this,
that's awesome though.
She gets it. And when I have to be gone, like, they're going somewhere and, being a present father and is the most important thing in the husband. So, but sometimes, they're going somewhere and I got to go work on the house. I got to get things done. No one's going to do it, so, okay.
As long as she's understanding that the sacrifice now, and hopefully the kids understand this, the sacrifice now will set you up to be with them longer later on.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it takes me, this is taking me a little longer too, because I am making sure I'm present with them too around now. Like I'm not just gone because I work 24-hour shifts, so I'm gone a lot already, but that's, I'm making sure that I'm doing the tasks, I'm making the calls, I'm doing the work I can do on the house. I'm not the handiest guy, so I'm doing everything that I can do. And then I'm, having other people complete the tasks that I'm not able to do. So it's been a whole learning experience, just getting quotes for things, learning the right pricing on everything, making calls, insurance, just how you like this. There's so much that goes into it, and you really just gotta go. You just gotta make a decision. This is what I'm going to do. I like to write down deadlines, even if you don't meet them. Like I wanted my house by January 29th, 23, and I got it in March, like way past, but it is what it is. I looked at houses, I went under contract, and things went wrong with 2 other houses, and it's all part of it, right? And it's been all of a story.
You learn everything. You learn something from every one of those possibilities. Everyone that you got under contract, even though you had to fall out, you learn what to look for again.
Absolutely.
And then you looked in there. everybody thinks that we're going to lose thousands upon thousands upon thousands of dollars if we make the wrong decision. And the thing is that if you follow the right steps, okay, what I mean by that is this is the one business that you can royally fuck up. And I'm glad I'm just on YouTube and I could say that, but you can royally fuck it up and still come out either break even or making money.
Yes. Yeah.
The difference is either holding it a little bit longer so you cash flow, okay?
Yep.
Or you wait for the next person, the better buy that comes in.
The market will change and maybe it'll make sense to sell here, and maybe you'll be in a better place. Like it's cyclical, right? Like things are it's not gonna be in the same spot. So you need to learn how it works, right? It took me a very long time to even learn the whole language of real estate and reading books, reading them twice over, listening to podcasts, Bigger Pockets and Wholesaling Inc. and all kinds of stuff just to get it. And now I understand it a lot more, but I'm still a student of the game and I always will be, because you always have more to learn, and I'll have more to learn on the next property and the next one after that. But, you got to do things to get your mind right to be able to sustain the journey. I feel like, so fitness has been huge for me, doing things that are hard so that when things come up, you're not super overwhelmed because you have the confidence in yourself that you're going to be able to handle it. Like, I know I'll make this property work. So more shit's going to go wrong. It's going to suck, but I'll handle it. I'll take care of whatever is thrown at me.
And I think that's the thing is that the more you put yourself out there, the more you have conversations to talk with people, the more confidence you'll grow. Okay. Yep. You had confidence through fitness because that was something, and a lot of people get that, not knocking that, but you can get confidence other ways if you're not a fitness person. If you, by repetition, I tell people in cold calling, you have to talk with 200 people, meaningful conversations. This is not my statistic. I stole that from Brent Daniels and Wholesaling Inc.
Yeah.
All right. So you got to have 200 meaningful conversations before you get one deal.
Absolutely.
Okay. When you're cold calling.
And working for, Transcend Homes is the company, the wholesaling company that I'm with. And, when I started cold calling, it was, my heart rate's up, like you sound like a machine, and at first no one's gonna, and then you keep going and going and, you get more comfortable, you start going on appointments, you start talking with people, you get houses under contract, you go further on the line, but it's just, you just gotta go, and you gotta realize it's going to take a lot longer than you think it's going to take. It's going to take more work than you think. It's going to be uncomfortable, but like you said, just get those reps in, with talking to people. You just have to do always the thing that you don't want to do, mostly, basically.
Most definitely. Yeah. So what I want to do is transit. I want to go over how you got this first deal. Okay. Obviously we know that you've been looking, you're learning, you had someone under contract, you did. What made this deal say, you said it yourself, it felt right. Okay. What made this deal feel right whether it be with the numbers, whether it be with the location, and what made you decide to, because this is inside Detroit. A lot of people don't want to do inside Detroit. Even if you're Section 8, you can still do Section 8 outside Detroit. Okay. So what made you go inside Detroit, and what made you choose this deal?
Just, basically the return on investment, like Jay says, it's a bigger risk, but it's a bigger return on investment. And with the way I'm using it with my money, it's expensive money. So I wanted to have a bigger margin for what it's going to rent with the purchase price, to leave more room for error, basically. And I just decided to do it and see if it's going to work out. And I wanted one on the west side. This was a good area. I liked the surrounding area. It just felt like it was a good spot. And I go in the house and it's a nice house. It's got a lot of things done right to it. It had some things that I found that, obviously things came up, but it's going to be good. It just felt, I trust everything. I trust my intuition. I trust the vibe of things that I get. And something just told me buy this one.
Okay. So how did you run the numbers on it? Like, that's kind of my question on that, more so than like, how did it get to, because it had to feel right, because after you read the numbers, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't go
this one,
online and say, I Redfin here, right? So you had to use all the experience from all the other deals that you've been analyzing in the past, and the ones that fell out of contract, and the reason why. Now it sounds like it was a little bit, I don't want to say rush, but a little bit like, okay, I want to get a deal soon, and this is here. But
I was definitely like, I'm done looking at houses. I'm buying this one, and I'll just deal with whatever happens at this point, and going back. Yeah. It's, there were some things like, that were some red flags looking back now. Like, I could have analyzed the windows a little better, the furnace a little better, but maybe I could have got it cheaper. Would I still have bought the house? I'm not sure, but
right.
I'm in it now. I'm going to make it work. But yeah.
Did you buy it off market? Was it through a wholesaler?
No, it was on market, and I was looking at it with, my agent, and we got it under the listing price. So, it was listed for 90. I got it for 80. I was hoping to get, between 13 and 1500 for rent. So I'm shooting for 1500. So,
okay.
Yeah, I've been putting, a good amount, not too much into it, but, I plan to put 10 grand or at least into it to get it rent ready, you know?
And how long from purchasing it until, I'm assuming where you're at now, it's just about rent ready?
Yeah, I got a couple more things to do, but yeah, it's been a month. I've had it for a month. I closed on the 18th. So yeah, a little over a month. I got a couple more things to do, but all the big things are basically done.
Honestly, that is not bad at all for somebody. I'm assuming you're doing most of the work yourself. Is that right?
No, I got my buddy doing, he's an electrician too, who got me into this. So he's been doing that. Okay. I got, I'm doing the small things, changing the locks and, spray painting and stuff like that. But I got, I need to get the driveway patched. I need to get, a new furnace put in it.
But even to coordinate everything.
I got the windows
even to coordinate everything with a full-time job. I mean,
and the kids, it's a lot.
The kids and the wife and everything. Yeah. And to get it done in just about a month, it'll
probably be a couple more weeks though, before,
which is fine.
Yeah, it'll be. Yeah, I got a showing tomorrow. I talked with her on the phone for 20 minutes. She seems great. She's already like, I think I can get the inspector out there later this week or next week. So I want to get it at least as close to ready as possible. I know the inspections are pretty. I'm just going through it. Just trying to be as prepared as I can.
Pass a city inspection?
No, because for Section 8, you just need the Section 8 inspection.
Okay.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people. When they do the city inspection, it's basically the same thing as a Section 8. Right. It's just a couple of nuances, but for the most part, it's the same thing.
Yeah, and I know like certain housing agencies, inspectors care about different things. Some of them are more strict than others. So I'm trying to get all the main things that I know need to be done. Like an encasement around the porch, a handrail. If there's trip hazards in the driveway, you're going to have to get them patched. The doors, the windows have to stay open, just all these things. And, I've had people send me the inspection list, and I've talked with Jay a ton, and I've called him 100 times. He always is, always able to answer my questions. And, you just try to prepare as much as you can and just take it day by day. And, I hope the showing goes well. I hope I find a tenant, and if I can get an inspection and the house will be completely done in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'll be good. I planned for, 2 months of, light rehab.
Yeah. So that's awesome though. And it sounds like you're right on time on your timeline. So, That's a good thing. Now, how did you come about screening the tenant? Obviously, you're starting to screen tenants now, which you just
Yeah, I'm
said.
still
How did
working on
you
that
figure
so
that
far.
out? Okay.
Just basically Jay telling me, this is what you do. You look up this, and he's been my
Yeah.
biggest resource for Section 8 process in general. And so, yeah, I still need to do that after I meet her tomorrow. I'll, dig into, credit score and all that stuff. But yeah, I'm
Okay.
still learning. I'm just learning as I go. And, I got a few sites that I can look into, and things that I've seen. I joined like 4 of these groups, on Facebook,
Yeah.
and I got my 2 partners at Transcend that know a lot about all that too, and they have a lot of connections. Brandon's he's done a huge connection for me too, and
So
he's
when
had
you
my
say
back every step of the
partners,
way too.
yeah. So when you say partners, are you partnering these deals with them?
Part of them, yeah. Like we kind of just work together, all three of us. Yeah, like.
So did you guys split up the cost 3 ways? Did you make an entity with all 3 of you in it?
No, we kind of just came in. Yeah, like I kind of came in last, so it's like, it depends on the deal, who spearheads the deal,
Okay.
But yeah, it's not like a 3. I came in after the company was formed. So, but we,
Okay.
all 3 of us, yeah, we work together on the deals. If I have an appointment and, I can't make it because I'm at work, Brandon will go, and vice versa. And I'll go take pictures or he'll take pictures. I'm still learning a lot with that game too,
Yep.
So I'm just trying to be the best I can at my job, husband and father, and then also, investor.
That's awesome.
Learning the wholesaling game. There's a lot to do.
So one thing I gotta say is, for anybody out there that, partnerships are great. And if one person has a skill and that you do not have and you want to partner with them, that is the right way to do it. Now, if you both have the same skill set and you want to partner up, well, what is the other person bringing to the table?
Right.
The only way that helps is if, okay, now you can do double whatever you were going to do. Okay. So every person in the partnership has to have a job, or, like you just said, pick up the slack here and there, but they at least have a different skill set from every other person.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why I learned that the hard way. That with partnerships, like, I had the same thing, but I also have learned that anybody I do, it's not to say I won't do another partnership. It's I'm going to do it a deal by deal basis.
Yeah, if it makes sense.
If it makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'll do a lot of JV deals with people, no problem. But you're not going to be on my company entity unless we start a new company entity.
Yeah, from the beginning, right?
From the beginning, yeah. So unless like if I have a company with, say, like you came into with another person, and then me and the other person's both like, okay, this other person here, they have this skill set that we don't have. Let's bring them in.
Yeah.
And there's the operating agreement lists what everyone's supposed to be doing. That way, if someone's not doing what they're supposed to be doing, you can always at least go back to that operating agreement.
Yeah. And it's going to probably just, make it easier. And if there's ever some quarrels or something between guys, everything's laid out. It's in writing. That makes a lot of sense.
It's in writing and it's laid out. And it's not to say that the operating agreement can't change. Life changes. We move, we evolve, we do whatever. And you say, well, can you pick up the slack on me and I'll pick up the slack on you over here, and vice versa, and things like that. And then you're like, okay, well, if it's a permanent basis, let's change the operating agreement.
Right.
Things like that. But I definitely think it's awesome that you're doing that. And I'm assuming it's people that you know and trust.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're right.
Yeah, it's like when I took both of them, we hit it off pretty good, so it was cool.
And
definitely trust these guys.
That's awesome. And this is where getting around people that you know and trust, that you like, you relate to, and then having these conversations and understanding, like going to these meetups and like Jay Peltier and a few other people that you ran into that are very helpful to you, that helps you get into here, you know, and helps you, like he's going over the whole tenant. I don't know. Honestly, he is an anomaly because I don't know another investor that will put in so much time with someone just to help them out without payment.
Yeah,
you know?
he came to a different property because I was under contract with 2, and I asked him a question, and I was like, I'm down there right now, and he was like, I'll be there in 20 minutes to walk it with you if that's cool. I'm like, yeah, of course that's cool. Yeah, you know, and
right.
You know, he came down and we talked about
Jay
it.
Peltier is watching here, by the way. So he
what
put
up,
a little
Jay?
smiley
Told me
face.
not to he told me not to name drop him, but like that's
okay. I name drop him for you. So
yeah, it's just it's funny. You know, I told him, I'm like, dude, you need anybody to like go to one of your properties and do anything, like any way I can bring you some value. You know, I want to reciprocate in some way. You know,
most definitely. And I think one of the things that Jay lives by, and that I really like I'm trying to live by myself, is that the more money I can make somebody else, the more money I will make myself.
Yes.
I will get residuals. I will get karma. I will get whatever.
Yeah.
If I help somebody else make money, I will get a piece of it no matter what. Like it might not be in that deal. Right away. It might not happen right away. I will get it eventually.
Absolutely.
I'm not looking for it. I'm not doing. Hey, if it happens, it happens. Great. You know,
the universe is going to give back what energy you put out there. You know, if you're staying true to your character and your intentions are good and you're trying to, you know, do better as and be more successful and help other people be successful and, you know, be honest, it's going to come back around, you know, like you said, maybe it's not in this deal or maybe it's not right away, but because you're putting good things out there, it's going to come back, you know, and, you know, like I'll make these unexpected expenses that popped up. Like I'll make it back. I'm going to hold this property. My next deal will be a lot, you know, I know what to look for now. It'll be a better, deal because I know what to look for. So I'll make it up there and down the line. Like I'm not going to stop doing this. So, you know, you just got to keep going.
And the thing is that you're going to get appreciation if we get appreciation.
Yeah.
Rents are going to go up eventually.
Yeah.
So
Detroit's
you're going to
cash flow. Yeah.
Yeah. So Detroit, if anybody doesn't know the Detroit market, who is watching the Detroit market, inside proper Detroit, we just had an article say that home values went up 800% from previous years. And it's not just 1 year, it's from when they started. Like they don't put too much stock into Detroit home value. So now that, like, say if they do it every 5 years, then it's like, well, we just hit a big boom. And it's because the Detroit areas, unfortunately, they don't have a lot of value in it, but the value it does have is cash flow in rentals.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've watched them appreciate too a little bit. You know, just over time.
And there are pockets of areas like Bagley, Morningside, East English Village. These are just to name a few. There's some on the west side. There's a lot of different neighborhoods that the values there are going up. They're $300,000-$400,000 or $400,000.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes Boston Edison, Virginia Park, just to name a few. And it's like, but unfortunately, people who are not from here, they go, oh, it's just outside of this neighborhood. Well, you can't take a comp from inside the other neighborhood, and that's outside. You just can't do it. And they try to all the time.
It's block by block. Right?
It is. It truly is.
That's Jay's big.
Block by block.
Detroit is another animal.
Yeah.
And
you'll have Boston Edison where you have a $600,000 house. 1 block over, you got about 5 burnt up homes.
Yeah, it's wild.
It's
It is
crazy.
some parts are it is wild, man. And yeah, people are like, you're investing, it's crazy, but it's you gotta
Yeah.
take risks sometimes.
So, tell me what is your next step from here, and how do you plan on moving forward? What is your plans to get the next one, and how can people here help you get to the next one as well?
Um, let's see. So I'm gonna, just find a tenant, basically find the right tenant. I want to get this one,
Mhm.
get a tenant in there as soon as possible. And then I'll do the delayed financing. I'll get as much money paid back on my HELOC as possible. And then I'll just live at the firehouse, over working as much overtime over the summer, because there's a ton over the summer, and you can just throw that
Mhm.
at the interest only payments, right? And so once I get it down to a level where I'm comfortable at, I'll start looking for the next one. And my next one will be off market and a bigger
Okay.
rehab. Because, if you're gonna invest in Detroit, you might as well make the biggest, get the biggest return on investment you can,
Mhm.
and people can tell you that, and I'm stubborn, but the huge rehabs were very overwhelming for me. But now that I've like gone in and I've correlated some things, and it's really, it's the same basically. Like I'm sure it's not the same, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm going to be taking on a bigger rehab next time so I can get the property at a lower price. And
Most definitely. And the thing is that even though like it was semi turnkey that you got it, you
mhm,
still had to do some renovation. It was still a light renovation. But then you got into it and you said yourself that some of the renovations that they did just wasn't up to par, and you had to
no,
redo some of the stuff,
yeah, I had
you
to
know?
fix some of that. And it's, yeah, I'm going to have to like, yeah, fix up some things that they just, kind of did halfway.
Right.
So if I can do the whole, or at least do a lot of the work that I can do, and then contract out whatever else I need to, I can oversee it and make sure it's done the way I want it to be done.
Right.
And now that I'm going to know a lot more about the inspections, I'll
Mhm.
know when I'm walking through a house, what's going to meet inspection, what's not. Because a lot of these little things that I thought would be inspection fine are not. And
Right.
it's just a lot of things added up. But we're in it. We're going to make it work, and I'm
Yep.
excited. And as soon as I get to a level I'm comfortable, I'll be looking for the next one. And I'm sure things will happen on that one too. But you want to do things people don't do. You're going to have to be willing to take a risk.
Right.
So
Most definitely. So before we go on the next one, Johnny Blanco had a question. How did you get your Section 8 applicant? So,
through Facebook groups, like Jay has a Facebook
mhm.
group, so I marketed my property there, and then also on Facebook Marketplace. So that's where I've
Okay.
gone so far. And I've had a lot of people respond, like, a lot of them are market
And
tenants
there,
too. So
yeah, and there's a lot of Section 8 Facebook groups out there. I do recommend Jay Peltier's Facebook group for Section 8 applicants.
mhm.
But there's others out there, not just his, too, that you can post it in there and check them out. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
So that one in Marketplace so far.
Okay.
Mm.
Awesome. And did you take good photos? Like, how did you end up? It's just
Yeah.
quick photos, and that was about it.
Yeah. Quick
So,
photos and a good description, keeping it
mhm.
simple so far. But
All
yeah,
right.
later on, I'll probably get fancier and make a video, and, it depends, so, but yeah, so far just got some good pictures and throw them up there, and good
All
description.
right. So, what will you be looking for your next one? What area, criteria, what price point will you be looking for? Things like that.
I mean, I like the west side so far, so I'll probably try to stay
Okay.
on the west side. I'm, probably a northwest, a little closer to home, because I'm making that drive. It's like 30, 35. It's about 30 minutes for me. So going there,
Okay.
it's a drive here, and for going back and forth quite often. But I mean, ideally, it just all depends on the deal. If I can find one for 40, 50 or less that makes sense, it all depends on the deal. But I'll definitely
Awesome.
feel a lot more prepared and
Well,
willing
you're
to
in
take
the
on a bigger,
you're in the Facebook group now, aren't you?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now that you're in there, people post deals that all the time,
Mm-hmm.
So check them out and then see. Do take it with a grain of salt. Don't always do your own numbers. Don't let a wholesaler tell you, "Oh, this is the ARV and this is what
Oh
rental is."
yeah. No,
Always
I'll be
run your
doing
own
my own
numbers.
comps. I'll be doing all that
Oh
myself.
yeah,
Yeah. And then you got to
and
do like to
and
learn
that
it for
even goes
yourself.
for me. I tell people, even me, like what I think and what you think may be two different things.
Yep. Yep.
So I try to be as open and honest as I can, but you got to every investor has to run their own numbers.
Absolutely.
So, and that's where I think by you doing all these deals and getting them either under contract, even though you lost them, you still ran these numbers on every single one of these properties and you learned something new from it. Oh, I got to add that. Oh, I should got to get rid of that one,
Mm-hmm.
on the next
Yep.
one. Now I know to look for that,
Yes.
and now you actually went and got a property. You got it. You're getting it rented. You're rehabbing it. Now you know what to look for on the things that went wrong,
Mm-hmm.
but there's going to be some new things that come up as well that, hey, we'll go to Jay. You'll come to, somebody like, you'll come to me and, hey,
Yeah.
what do they mean by this? What does this mean? What is it? What does this look like? So on and so forth,
Absolutely.
it's just about networking,
Yeah.
as much as possible.
I got a lot of
So,
people that I trust that are, in the real estate game that are good at what they do. And, it's definitely, it's scary when you take the plunge and you close and now you got this property and you got this, money is on the, now you got skin in the game, but I mean, you got to do it eventually. And,
and
it's
you're
worth it.
realizing, hey, time is money. You got to get this done,
Yeah, absolutely.
because you're paying that HELOC every month.
Yep. It's
And
getting paid. So someone needs to get in,
somebody needs to give
Yep.
it. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
we're going to make it happen.
most definitely. So we're coming, I want to be respectful of your time, but we're coming to, close to the hour mark here, but I do want to go over, if you can come up with one story of something that, and it could be whether it be in this deal or whether it be a deal that you fell through because of something happened, of something that happened that you're like, oh crap, I had no idea about that. And then you found it out, and how did you remedy it, and how did that help you going forward?
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
I know
it's part of
I know I
this.
rambled on a little bit, but
No, you're
sorry.
good, man. I'm good.
Yeah.
It's all good. No, it's still in this deal too. It's this garage that I have. So the garage is a little in worse condition than I thought it was. So I'm not sure, as people have told me, you're going to have to tear this down. People will say you can padlock it and it'll be fine. And then if I want to get it up to code, it's going to cost it quite a bit, so the garage appeared fine. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, but now like the concrete needs to be fixed. The wiring, there's a lot wrong with it. So I'm probably going to end up tearing it down, but just analyze everything very deeply. When you're going through the things that just talk to people that have done what you're trying to do, and just really listen, and analyze those things, and it'll help you be more prepared.
That's
so
awesome.
Hopefully I'll just padlock it for a little bit and have to tear it down later, but
Jay says no.
yeah.
I don't know what he's saying no to, but I don't know about maybe tearing down or something, tearing down the garage.
We'll see. I mean, he hasn't seen the garage yet, but either way.
So garage does help, if you can do it for relatively cheap, then it's worth saving, but it just depends. It really does
Yeah.
depend on, the inspector might not even care. As long as you
Exactly.
padlock it or not, like they may not even care. And then that way you can slowly just start to fix it up as it goes. So,
Yeah. That's
now
just
if it's
another.
in pieces, like where the roof is caving in, and then,
No, it's
you know,
not that bad, but just really
okay.
the concrete, white, the door. There's just a lot of things in it that,
Yeah.
I thought at first glance it wasn't going to be that big a deal, but now I'm thinking it's going to
Yeah.
be a bigger deal than I thought it was going
Concrete and a door are easily saved.
to be. Yeah,
The biggest
yeah,
thing is if the walls are, or if it slid off the foundation of the things like that. So,
yeah,
concrete, you can get that. I don't want to say cheaply, because
yeah,
cheap is relative term, but there are ways to remedy that situation.
yeah. And I'll get
So,
a few opinions on it. It's like on quotes on what I'm going to do. So
yeah,
it's and to make the best decision. But
yep.
yeah,
So,
that was just the first thing that came to mind. So it was
yeah,
that's the
that's
one thing
awesome.
that I didn't think would be a big deal. And like also I thought the electrical was all good in this house, and then
Yep.
things aren't grounded right, and then I got after that it rained for 3 days last week, and now I got water coming to my electrical box. It's like
Yeah,
things are gonna happen, but you just got to go into it.
you
I
got to roll
know.
with it and
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
you know.
and it's I'm
Um,
enjoying this part of the journey too, because later on when I do have several, I can look back.
mhm.
Remember that first one.
So what are your goals going forward in the future? And, like how many do you want to have? How many's too many? Like, what is your goals in real estate?
um, oh, sorry, you're breaking up a little bit there, but
Oh, sorry.
I don't think there's any such thing as too many. But
Right, right.
I'm 34. I want hopefully 10 by 40 years old, 20 by 50. I think once I learn a lot more, I'll be able to scale pretty fast. So those are like a long-term goal that I'm gonna hit, and we'll just
Mhm.
see when I go from there. Maybe I'll get more. Maybe I'll be content. you know, but we're focusing
Okay.
on the first one right now. I'm still the new guy. I got a lot to learn, and I'm just learning every day, just waking up ready to attack it, and enjoying the process. Just this is the beginning, and I know it's
Mhm.
going to work. I don't know. It'll take me a long time. It's going to take a lot of work, and I'm willing to put it in. So
One property at a time. That's all we
exactly.
can do. That's all we can ask for. That's awesome. So I do appreciate you coming on here, and you sharing your story. I do want to, at least put out there that if you do need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. Like, I'd love to help out in
I
any way
appreciate that. Thank you.
possible. You know, if I tell this to anybody out there, even if you're listening right now, my number is right here below here. If you need any question, you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a text, give me a call. If I can answer them, I will. If I can't, I'm going to be honest with you until I can't. But I'll try
Hmm.
to guide. I'll gear you towards someone who will.
Right. You got
You
resources
know,
too. So,
I got resources.
yeah,
Yep.
there you go.
So, with that being said, if you do want to come on the show with us, please do let me know. You can shoot me a text, shoot me an email. My email is randybuyshousesmi@gmail.com. And we'll kind of go from there. So, we'll do our outro. Just stay here. We'll talk afterwards. I'm going to bring you down. All right.
Sounds good. Appreciate it. Nice chopping
All
it up.
right.
Appreciate you having me on.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you having me on. And, thank you for coming on and sharing your story, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you guys. I really do appreciate you coming on and showing me, or allowing me to tell everyone's story as much as possible. And I'm just trying to help out as many people as I can, show as much love as I can. If you want to join our Facebook group, it's Metro Detroit Off Market Real Estate Group. There's a picture of a house on there, and it says a for sale sign. So check that out. We have over 7,000 members at this time of this recording. I love putting out there as many people as we can and helping out as many people as we can. You can post your deals in there. Just don't spam. I will delete if it's spam. So with that being said, hit me up if you want to do any JV deals. I'm a wholesaler as well. I eventually will do some rentals myself, but let me know and we'll get on there. Until the next time, let's all do deals together.
There was once a day that I would pray for you. I'd go and misbehave just so you'd notice too. Sneaking looks up and down from across the room. And damn, what a hell